right, y'all. What's going on, man? Welcome back to another episode, man, of Najeh Walker Show, man. We got a great guest in the building, man. Obviously, he's been there, done that, man. Done some great things on the high school level, man. We're gonna be catching up with Jeremy Hecklinski today, man. He is now an Iowa quarterback, formerly at Wake Forest. So we're gonna break everything down, see what he's been up to, what he's been working on, and just let him tell his story where he's at now, man. So without further ado, let's bring him on. What's going on, Jeremy?
What's up?
What's going on? How's everything, brother?
What's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you
Oh,
coming
it's
on.
going good. It's been a crazy
No, go ahead. Sorry, it's a
weeks and
little
stuff like that. So,
for sure, man. If you can, Jeremy, just talk a
been
little bit about how the transfer portal is and just the weeks and how you have to just navigate all that.
yeah. So it's kind of like going through recruiting again. To be honest, kind of like you're back in high school, and the spring portal, I would say, is a little harder than the December portal, just because guys have already kind of solidified going through spring. So I was real fortunate to find a couple places that had some interest in me, and ultimately decided with Iowa.
For sure. Now, as you said, going through the process is a little more difficult, like kind of like recruiting all over. So once you enter your name in the portal, Jeremy, what's kind of next in that step?
Yeah, so I had entered my name in the portal. You'll get some texts on Twitter and some calls, and you got to kind of have some people that and some things and things like that that'll help. But you kind of just have to reach out to people and be like, "Hey, are you interested?" Or what's your quarterback room look like? What's your offense look like? Kind of just finding the best fit and opportunity that's best as possible for yourself.
100%. Now, obviously, we're going to come back to the portal here in a second, but I just want to go through just your first year, Jeremy, with Wake Forest. What was that kind of like? I know you had got on campus early. You really shined, in my opinion, in the spring game with Wake Forest, which recap kind of that first year with the program.
Yeah, I think my first year at Wake Forest was incredible. I had an amazing time. I learned a lot. I sat behind a guy named Hank Bachmeyer, who was a 6-year guy. He played 4 years at Boise State. Just got picked up in a mini camp at the 49ers. So he taught me a lot about how to deal with adversity in college football and how to just kind of navigate the whole experience. And I thought I handled my business well and did everything I should have the first year that everybody should do when they're a redshirt freshman is just get bigger and stronger and learn as much as you can. And that's kind of where my first year went. Obviously, I had Miami, and it was good to get out and see the speed of the game a little bit live. But I thought I handled my freshman year the best way I could.
In terms of Jeremy, obviously, being a quarterback, we always know you've been a leader. Just what are some things you got to, I know you talked about being stronger, being bigger physically and stuff, but just in terms of the playbook, is it that much different than the high school in your opinion? Is there a lot to grasp? What's that kind of like, that component of it?
Yeah, I would say it's more extensive in the fact of checks and the ability that the defense has to do different things that in high school they don't have the ability to do. It's in high school you got two high level players that can do a lot on defense, but you go to college, it's all 11 of those guys can do those high profile, you know, high things. That the biggest switch is having to have eyes on all 11 guys.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely a big switch. And then, for you, Jeremy, just how important is that film study, or was that film study when you was navigating with Wake Forest in order to just be ready?
Yeah, I mean, you're in the film room every day. Um, our offensive coordinator, Coach R, was, very us watching film and studying plays and studying defenses and things like that, and definitely helped me along the way. Just getting in there, especially with Hank, having been in systems for 5 years and knowing what it takes, and him kind of showing me the ropes and how to do things.
For sure. Well, where do you feel like you've maybe improved the most from your first year where you currently are right now?
I would say I'm more comfortable changing protections and reading the defenses, and the speed of the game has slowed down. It's not like when you first get there and everything's moving 100 miles per hour. Everything's pretty. I feel I'm very comfortable in whatever situations I'm put in right now.
Nice. All right, so let's go back. Wake Forest, okay. So obviously you decided to hit the portal. Just for you, Jeremy, what was your reason? Obviously, you redshirted the first year. Was it just the change of the coach? Was it obviously different people coming in and out? What was your kind of your rationale? Like, hey man, I want to see what else is out there for me.
Yeah, ultimately it came down to our head coach Dave Clawson leaving, and uh, the new staff came in, and I wanted to stick it out and I wanted to compete because I'm not going to shy away from competition. Wanted to go a different way in the how they play their quarterbacks, and that's just how it is now in college football. And there's no bad blood between me and the new staff and things like that. It's a business now, and that's how it's ran. And I decided to go find a better opportunity somewhere else.
For sure. Let me ask you this. I know you've seen some of your boys hit the portal too. Obviously, Wendell Gregory's at Oklahoma State now. Obviously, you got Hunter Tillman.
Mhm.
Did y'all ever have a discussion like, hey, man, let's team up in college? What was that kind of like when you saw them kind of hitting the portal too?
Yeah, I mean, there's conversations that are had and text messages that are sent, like wishing them best of luck and stuff like that. Obviously, it'd be cool to link up with some guys like that, but ultimately, it looks different for everybody, and it's all about finding that sweet spot for yourself and for your skill set.
It's a great point, Jeremy. And then I want to get on the point that you talked about. You said it's a business now. So, in terms of a player, like how are you guys navigating? You obviously talked about Iowa, and obviously talked about some of these other schools. Hey, how many you got in your cubicle room? Do you have enough room for me? What's the interest level? But like you said, it's a business. Like so, how should a player? Everybody's story is different, obviously, Jeremy. But how should a player navigate with, like you said, college sports now being the business and finding that right fit and making sure they do what's best for the future? You think?
Yeah, I would say bet on yourself always. Just never doubt your abilities. You've gotten to where you are by playing how you play, and I would say the business aspect of college football now is, they can do whatever they want with the 105 and the roster limits and stuff like that. And the way they're making contracts and things like that now, it's security. Whereas, there used to be in college football where, you go to a place, you develop for 2, 3 years and you play your senior year. It's not like that anymore. It's a transfer portal driven world now. And I think what made me go to Wake Forest in the first place was they weren't huge on the transfer portal, and you know
Mm.
every staff and college football program likes to do it differently. And I'm not knocking programs that do the transfer portal huge, but for me, going to a place like Iowa where I have a lot of trust in Coach Lester and Coach Frentz, and not hitting the portal as extensively as these other schools do, and I feel like I have a good chance to develop and get on the field fairly early and compete with the other guys in that room.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's first off talk about. I know you correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, but you're from the Midwest, correct? I think Kansas City or Missouri.
Yeah, so my mom is from Kansas City, Missouri. My dad's from Chicago. So I'm kind of a Midwest guy. I mean, I've lived in the South, but I've been raised with Midwest values. So
For sure. So how excited are you to just to get out there? I mean, what was your dad's and your mom's reaction like? Dad, mom, I'm gonna go out Midwest. Obviously, I know you guys are from there. What was their kind of reaction when you told them?
yeah, so obviously they're excited. It's 12 hours from home, so they're gonna have to catch a flight now to come see games. But I got some family pretty close that will be excited to come to some games and stuff like that. And it'll be good to have a change of scenery and start fresh.
100%. Now you talked about Iowa and just competing with that obviously quarterback room. Just what's your mentality, Jeremy, kind of going in? Like, is it big development? Is it learn from the guys? Is it develop that relationship with the QB coach? What's your mentality as you grow and eventually take over that quarterback role for Iowa?
Yeah, I think the mentality has to be, expect nothing, earn everything. I mean, that's kind of how everything goes now in college football. Nothing's handed to you anymore. You got to go earn it. And I think I had established myself at Wake, and I was in a good spot, and now I got to go do the same at Iowa. And I'm a competitor, and I'm not going to shy away from things like that. And I love Coach Lester and the things that he's going to do on offense, and I have a lot of trust and faith in him that he's going to help develop me into a quarterback that I need to be. Honestly, my offensive coordinator at Wake Forest, who recruited me, is in the Iowa football office as a senior analyst. So having that trust in that office also kind of adds some security and some faith into me, where I'm like, this is a real good situation.
So let's talk about that. Obviously, you said Coach Lester, formerly Wake Forest. Obviously, now they're at Iowa. So obviously, relationships are important, Jeremy. But and you just obviously hinted on it. So when you break down the offense, like don't reveal no game plan or nothing or what y'all do, but just how do you feel like that will make you just be the best that you could be at this level, which is having a Coach Lester, having obviously guys that know your game and know what you can do.
Yeah. So Coach Lester is offensive coordinator there. He was with the Green Bay Packers. He's been head coach. He's been offensive coordinator. He's got a lot on his resume. And then Coach Frentz has been there for he's been there through 6 head coaches in the last whatever how many years. He's built a pretty good reputation and culture there that I feel it's only a growing culture, and it's not kind of a culture where you're gonna, you know, not flourish in, if that makes sense. And Coach Ruggiero being a senior analyst, having someone that I'm familiar with and have worked with, and I feel like it's only gonna be a positive to me coming in and developing and learning the offense and being a part of this new room.
For sure. So, Jeremy, I know you're back home of what you're telling me. So, what have you been working on currently right now? You working out a lot? Are you throwing a lot? What are you kind of doing now since you're back home for, I think you said a few weeks?
Yeah, so I've been home for 2 weeks now. I've been working out, been lifting weights at my old high school, and I'm starting to throw again. I kind of took a break because I always take a little 2 weeks off in May just to give my arm a rest. But I'm starting to throw again, and yeah, I'm studying some. They've sent me over some things that I'm looking at, some basic stuff that I'm looking over, trying to get a head start on that.
100%. And then what's next for you, Jeremy? When will you go back out to Iowa, obviously for the summer workouts, and then obviously you'll have fall camp. When does all that kind of start for you?
Yeah, so I got to go drive 12 hours next week and move in, just
Wow.
to get settled in and have a place, and then I'll come back to Atlanta for a little bit, and then I'll report back up there May 27th, and June 1st we start summer one.
There it is. And then I didn't ask you this, but when you said Wake, just how was you got game days. I know like one kid I was talking to, a college kid. He said like, yeah, we'll start early in the morning and then we'll go all the way late. So how was the just scheduling for you? Being obviously going for your education, doing the workouts, obviously doing classes. How did all that fit?
Yeah, so Wake Forest is a highly academic school, and we were a morning team at Wake, so which means is we practice in the morning, we work out in the morning, we're meeting in the morning, everything's in the morning. And so it was at first a struggle to go from 3 hours of football in the morning to then 4 hours of class in the afternoon. But you kind of get used to it, and I know Iowa's a morning team, which it'll be easy for me to adjust to and stuff like that.
100%, man. And then, if you can, Jeremy, just how is from your experience, how is like you talked about the transfer portal, but how is like NIL? Obviously, talked about it being a business now. How is that? Are you just kind of being yourself? Do you reach out to people for some deals? Do they reach out to you? Like, how does all that work in the college landscape in your eyes?
Um, I don't I don't pay attention to NIL as much as other people do. Obviously, everybody's getting a cut in the Power Four. Everybody's going to get a contract of some sort, and I'm not huge on whatever money is coming my way. I just want to play. My whole goal has always been play football, and I turned down some money out of high school to go to Wake Forest because that's where I thought my best would be, and I just want to play ball. That's always been the goal. Just get on the field and play.
And obviously, reach the next level.
Yeah. Yep.
100%, man. All right, Jeremy. Just a couple more minutes before I let you go. If you can, just any quarterbacks coming up now, like similar to your position, had a great, obviously, high school career. Any advice you would give them in order to be successful at this next stage?
Yeah, I would just say be yourself and don't try and because I led 7A in passing for 13 games my senior year and didn't get an offer. So I mean, the places that want you will come, and you got to go where you're wanted, and don't chase these big time places where you might not play. Go where you're wanted and just continue to play your game and your play style.
There it is. And obviously you are working out with Walton. Just have you been able to see spring practice so far, Jeremy? If you have, just what's kind of caught your eye so far with Walton?
Yeah. I was there yesterday, and I was, Coach Bruner had asked me to kind of watch the quarterbacks and see what's going on there. And obviously they have some good receivers and they have a good secondary, which is good. And yeah, I mean, the quarterbacks looked good. I mean, it's definitely a good quarterback battle to watch. And I know there's spring games coming up next week. I'm not going to be able to be there. I wish I could, but I think Walton will have a good season.
There you go. And then, for you, Jeremy, could you see yourself, not now, obviously, but maybe when your playing days are over, could you see yourself being a coach or an analyst or somebody in the front office for a program or even at the NFL level?
Yeah, I don't know if the coaching life's for me, to be honest with you. I might coach my kid, but I want to go get in the business world a little bit, go shake some things up there.
All right. Well, is there any business ventures that you're curious about, or just finance, or like where's that for you?
No, not yet. Marketing somewhere. I got 4 years left of college, so I got some time to figure it out.
I got you. Yes, sir. You do, man. All right. Last two, man, before I let you go. If you had to say, Jeremy, I know it's super early, you still got a lot of college to go, man. But just what do you want ultimately your legacy to be, in college, man? If you got to say.
Yeah, when I went to Wake Forest, I thought I was going to be there for 4 or 5 years, and I thought I was going to play for 4 or 5 years, and I never really wanted to leave. It was the goal to stay there and compete and be the guy there, and it didn't work out. So now I'm at Iowa, and I want to be the guy here for the next 3 to 4 years and play as much as I can and win some games.
There you have it. And then, how do you feel, Jeremy? Just adversity has maybe shaped you, to where you are now. Has maybe helped you in order, just your next phase of life.
Yeah, I mean, definitely adversity builds character, and going through certain things helps, down the road with different interactions with different things. And I think adversity that I went through in high school kind of helped me prepare for, the transfer portal and, new head coaching staff and things like that. And, I never really faltered or I was never really like shooken off my platform, if that makes sense. I was kind of always, this is okay. Like I know adversity will definitely help, especially in today's college football world, with building, mental toughness and character and being able to withstand things that are thrown at you.
For sure. Last question, Jeremy. I'll let you go. What has been your favorite thing about college, if you had to say?
And I would say the competition is fun, man. Going out there and 11 on 11 and moving the ball and stuff like that. It's a lot more fun than it was in high school for some reason for me. I don't know. Just like higher caliber, more higher competition and things like that. And it's fun to go out there and compete.
Do a lot of people? Is it more trash talking in college compared to high school?
Yeah, I would say there's a little bit more freedom to do what you want on the field, just because you're a little bit older and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of shit going around, a lot of trash talking back and forth. And I mean that stuff, I thrive for that stuff. That thing ever.
Hey man, like you always say, bro, you're a true competitor, man. I appreciate you, bro, just taking these 20 minutes, man, just to recap everything and talk about your journey, man. Much love, bro, and can't wait to continue to follow your journey, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man. All right, guys. Jeremy Hecklinski, man, in the building, man. Just appreciate him taking that time. Busy guy, man. But appreciate him coming on the platform. Just obviously talking about his story, navigating NIL, navigating transfer portal, finding his best fit, man. I think he'll be fine. Honestly, he's one of those kids that's rare always competes at a high level, man, and he'll be fine. And talk to a lot of kids, man. Everybody be in it, man, for the wrong reasons. But like you said, he don't care about NIL. He just care about playing football, being great. You had that, bro. You're destined for success. A lot of kids get caught up in the other stuff. I want to play, develop, get better, achieve my goals. You had that. Great. And there's nothing can stop you. Greatness is ahead. So I think that's the case for Jeremy, and can't wait to continue to follow him, man, and see what he does with the Hawkeyes, man. A really great program in the Big Ten, man. But that's going to do it for today. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I'll have this out soon. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube at Najeh Work on all platforms, man. And I will check y'all soon. And check out in the next one, man. Peace.